He's the king of crime in New York. Let's get into the video and find out who is Kingpin. His true name is Wilson Grant Fisk. Fisk grew up in a dysfunctional family. As a child, he was ridiculed and bullied by the other kids for being overweight and a bit awkward. He spent most of his time isolated in the library reading and learning. One day, something clicked in Fisk and he began to use his size, strength, and intellect to make the other kids fear him. He began training himself physically, taking up bodybuilding and martial arts. While training, he fell in love with the art of sumo wrestling and the Asian culture. He never stopped educating himself and was captivated by political science. He chose the criminal path at an early age. He used his ability to manipulate people to do his bidding and his physical prowess to build a large gang. Fisk had committed his first murder before he was 13. His exploits caught the attention of a Magia crime boss, Don Rigatello, who hired Fisk as a bodyguard and enforcer. It wasn't long before Fisk found himself in prison. While in prison, he befriended Miles Morales, who saved his life while they were in prison. Then shortly after the two were released, they planned and executed a takeover of Don Rigatello's operations. The men began to call Fisk Kingpin behind his back, and the nickname stuck. As Kingpin grew his criminal operation, he was smart enough to invest a lot of his money into legitimate businesses. He was able to build an empire under the guise of being a spice dealer. As his legitimate business ventures thrived, Fisk became a distinguished member of New York society. He met a young woman named Vanessa, and the two fell in love and eventually married. Just a year after being married, Vanessa gave birth to a son whom they named Richard. Now, at some point during Kingpin's rise, he killed one of his top enforcers, William Lincoln, who was known as Crazy Horse. The two had enough history together that William was able to make Fisk promise to take care of his daughter, Maya Lopez, who would later become known as Echo, before he was killed. Kingpin agreed to do it and kept his word and looked after Maya. Then the opportunity for Kingpin to expand his operations arrived when Spider-Man retired from crime fighting. Kingpin seized the moment and united all mobs in the city under his control. He then directed a campaign of crime in New York. But Kingpin's alliance of mobs fell apart when Spider-Man returned to crime fighting. Vanessa had never been a fan of her husband's criminal activities and eventually became tired of his life of crime. In an ultimatum, she gave him 24 hours to give up crime and move away with her, or she was leaving him. So Fisk gave up crime and the two moved away to Japan. But when Vanessa was kidnapped and apparently killed in an explosion, Kingpin returned to his life of crime and reassembled his empire. Eventually, Maya Lopez became curious about her father's death, and Kingpin used her curiosity to his advantage. Hoping to rid himself of his nemesis Daredevil, he led Maya to believe that Daredevil was the man that had murdered her father. Maya went after Daredevil, but in the process found out that Kingpin was the man responsible for her father's death. Maya then sought out Kingpin and shot him at point-blank range to avenge her father's death. Of course, Kingpin didn't die and would recover. Through the years, Kingpin has lost his empire numerous times, and every time he's been able to recover and rebuild that empire. His years of criminal activities have led him to have interactions with many heroes and villains like Spider-Man, Daredevil, the Punisher, Bullseye, Elektra, and the list goes on. So how is Kingpin able to battle heroes like Daredevil and Spider-Man? Through years of hard work, Kingpin has transformed his body into almost all muscle. His vast bulk shields him from many injuries, and he possesses peak human strength. He is exceptionally skilled in martial arts and is extremely agile for his size. He often carries a walking stick that is equipped to fire energy pulses and sleeping gas. The tie pin he wears is also equipped to disperse a dose of sleeping gas. Well, that's the origin of Kingpin, and that's a wrap for today's video. As always, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to stop by the channel and check out this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you again real soon. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.